Hey there folks, Caleb Booker here. I wanted to do a short video about crystal balls. Now traditionally crystal balls are used for divination. You'd have a big one on a table, you'd lean over it, you'd look down into it, and through the haze and through the reflections as you move your hands around it, you see things, you see visions. And that's the idea of a crystal ball. Sort of makes sense if you really think about it, because a crystal is a bunch of molecules all pointing in the same direction. That kind of harmony's got to sort of do something. Haven't related to it personally as a form of divination. I haven't really been able to intuitively go with it. But if it's something that you feel calling for, go ahead. One word of caution: lots of people out there selling glass balls, calling them crystal balls. It's not the same thing. You're looking for something that's a little bit opaque. Here's my little piece of selenite here. You can see through from one angle, from the other angle you can't. Should be a little cloudy. That's a crystal. So that's what you're looking for. And not necessarily selenite. This is about the cheapest kind of crystal you can get. I bought this, I don't know if I was called to it, or it was calling me. I don't know, I saw it and I'm like, that is coming home with me. And even though it's cracked, I love that it's cracked, actually. Like, there's something about that I just find tremendously charming from an aesthetic point of view. I'm not sure. Intuitive. Anyway, I tend to keep this out because it acts like kind of like an air purifier. It sort of takes all the bad vibes and neutralizes them. It sort of neutralizes good vibes too. It's sort of just a big air cleaner kind of thing. Really good to use in environments where there's lots of people, where there's lots of noise. I'll put it out on the table and suddenly I can focus. Might be psychosomatic, I will give you that, but seems to work for me. Now, one thing that a friend of mine, Lizette, said on Facebook a little while ago was that she was criticizing people who charge up their crystals by putting them out in the sun. And I didn't understand that at first, because I always thought, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, sun, just, kind of zap through it and clean everything out, because they do collect things over time. But she made the point that crystals aren't formed in the sun. Crystals are formed inside rocks, sometimes in heat and sometimes in cold, but always underground, far away. They never see the sun until we go and dig them up. And so the natural environment for a crystal is dark. And that made a lot of sense. So as I was thinking about how to clean this thing out, because it has seen a lot of miles, I have the rad here, the radiator. It's an older building, and the radiator is a grounded thing. When I do meditation and I lean against it, it's the greatest. I just feel completely connected to the earth. It's like sitting outside with my feet buried. And so I put it directly on the rad, and I use a little sack that I keep it in, and I just put it over top and left it there overnight. And when I picked it up the next day, it was like a completely different object from an intuitive point of view. Again, you know what? You're looking at it, it looks the same. So yes, maybe I'm talking crazy, psychics aren't real, whatever. But from an intuitive point of view, I picked this up and it just felt happy. Like that's the word I would use for it. And I have found that leaving it on there and then taking it off later, I relate to it in a totally different way. I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about this thing for a long time. But since I started doing that, I don't want to say it's speaking to me, per se, but I'm definitely getting emotional contact of some kind from this thing. And speaking of grounding, I'm definitely finding that leaning up with my bare back against the rad here during meditation helps me let go of stuff. I'm going through this massive healing process from that. So, food for thought. So, if you have a crystal ball, this is worth thinking about, that if you need to recharge it or purge it or clean it out, that it might be a good idea to ground it in some way. I mean, you bury it in the backyard, that counts as grounding. Or attach a copper wire to it and attach that to a piece of metal and get it underground. And leave it overnight covered, because it likes the dark. It's where it was born. And it can flush out and be a brand new crystal all over again. That's it. If you have questions about crystals or crystal balls or divination, or if you want a free psychic reading right here on the YouTube channel, just leave a comment or send me a message on Facebook at the Psychic Village. And that's it. See you all next time, guys. Bye. Bye-bye.